our guest this week, super nice guy because he got up early to talk to us. He is not in the country, so he had to adjust his schedule to join us. And I'm so glad he did because he was one of the best to ever put on a UCF Knights uniform. It is former UCF Knights basketball player, Mr. Isaiah Sykes, is with us. Isaiah, first off, man, we can't thank you enough. I know you got up early to chat with us today. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Zeke.
Well, let's start here. How does a kid from Detroit end up all the way in Orlando playing basketball? How did you end up at UCF?
Kind of Michigan and Michigan State kind of blew they chance. It was just the big basketball talk, and I visited their schools, and it was just something I was like. With Orlando, I was like, I want to go down there and see how it is. And the moment I stepped on the campus and, seeing the vibes and the palm trees, and right off the flight, I'm like, this is different. And then once I met the guys, Keith Clanton and all them, they were cool. And, they just embraced me, and it just felt like home. So it was just like, I was like everybody back home was like Michigan State. I'm like, nah, UCF is where it's at. I was like, I haven't seen anything like that, like far as campus and, just the people and how the fans embraced and loved the athletes there.
You came in at an interesting time too, because you were in between Kirk Spurra and Donnie Jones, correct? So who was kind of like your main recruiter? How did that staff shakeup impact kind of your time going to UCF?
It was Coach Jones. He came to a few of my games in Detroit, so that really meant a lot. Coming from they had previously just offered me. He came to a playoff game, and we ended up winning and winning by like 30 against one of the top number one teams, and so it was real good. He showed a lot of love.
We talk a lot about, actually, Mike and I were talking before you came on about the current state of UCF's basketball program. We'll get to that in a second. But what about the facilities? I mean, obviously, Michigan State, those are blue blood programs, right? They got locker rooms for locker rooms, right? They have 3 guys to like 1 stall, and everyone's helping everybody out. What were the facilities like at UCF compared to maybe what you saw in other visits?
They were dope. I always seen that's the thing about me. I always seen the vision of where UCF could be, because I think at the time they were changing from Adidas and going to Nike. So that's how great.
Shout out Marcus Jordan for that, right?
Yeah, like that's how great the visit was. Like I didn't even know. Like when I got there, I'm like, we with Adidas, like I didn't know any of that, but. It just felt like home, and it was a great place, like, with people you can trust, and, the usual, when you go on these visits, they embracing you, but you can tell this like they putting on a show. It just felt natural. I like that players was like, themselves and wasn't trying to overdo it and make me feel welcome like that.
So your first year gets off to an interesting start. We're opening up a brand new arena in Orlando. We played the Gators, and we ended up beating them. What do you remember about that game and how we were able to take the win that night?
Oh man, that was probably one of the most fun games. Having the vets and the team that we had that year. I think we all pretty much felt the same disrespected coming out. They put all our fans in the nosebleed, and all the Florida fans were down on the seat. So once we seen that coming out the tunnel, like we all came together and we like, yo, like Coach Jones came from this school. We knew like both teams ran the same plays. It would just come down to who wanted most. And, we like, what do we got to lose? You know what I'm saying? Like they don't even expect us to win. And, we put on the show. Everybody showed up, chipped in, and did what they had to do.
Yeah, it was a big win. And that whole beginning of that season, we started out 14-0. We were rolling. What was clicking with that team? There was no stopping us early on.
I think it was just the bond with the team, and everybody that summer did summer A and B. So it kind of like helped us. We had a lot of work we put in together like over the summer, and bonded. It was just like a family, like a brothers. So you can't ask for more than that when you get, everybody to come summer A and B.
Well, then things took an interesting turn, Isaiah, because then we lost 9 of our next 11. Obviously, you're a freshman, right? You're away from home. You had a lot of success early on, then things kind of go bad. What was kind of going through your mind? What kind of emotions were you having? You're on the high of highs, beating Florida 14-0, and all of a sudden, the bottom drops out. How'd you handle that?
It was a great learning experience, of just coming to college and, learning to deal with adversity. Because a lot of those games, it was like 1-2 points and then, maybe 5 points. And games you look at, maybe 1-2 mistakes or turnovers that could have changed the game. So it was great for us because every guy approached the game. Nobody got down on each other. It actually helped us, come together even more because, it was like us against the world. Like, everybody praised us. And then, us losing those games, they like, oh, haven't won game in months. And, we just stayed together and stayed the course.
How about Coach Jones? We obviously we talk a lot about those teams, but tell us a little bit more about Donnie Jones. What kind of coach was he? What kind of motivator was he? What kind of guy was he to play for day in and day out?
Coach Jones was a great coach, man. He definitely a motivator and, definitely a guy with a lot of kindness and cared about his players, each one, he always, even now, if I need advice for him or, a lot of the guys, we still talk to him to this day. And, he just checks on us and we check on him. And he was just always that guy to give you that opportunity, that a lot of coaches probably wouldn't give and stuff like that.
So the next year we actually start against we beat UConn in Bahamas, and that's a big win. I mean, they were ranked number 4 at the time. What do you remember going into that game and coming away with the victory that night?
We just, came out and everybody was, that Chicago connection. And then, me being from Detroit and then to Orlando, we put a lot of time in. And I think overall that season, we just all felt like, we had something to prove and to let the world know we could play with the best of the best as long as we stick together and control what we can control.
You personally got off to a great start that season. I think you were putting up 15 points basically every game. Was there a big difference? Did the game slow down for you? Or were you just more confident in your second year?
Yeah, I was more confident, and then it was just a role, different role. The coaches understood that I can do more and I can handle, because my first year, we had a lot of seniors and juniors. So, Isaac Sosa, great player, Tyler, Taylor Young. You had a bunch of great guys, and it's like you're not about to come in and just, take those guys' spot. They made you earn it. So, me, I took that defensive role because a lot of people, when I first got to UCF, they didn't know I could score the ball like that or play. But, when I came in, Coach Jones was like, man, we need somebody to go check the best player every night. And, at the time, I wasn't playing a lot of minutes. And I'm like, this is an opportunity for me to get on the floor. I got to show them, I can go out there. I'll guard anybody. And once that happened, more minutes started to come, more confidence, more shots, and just the team trusting you even more.
You feel better after a big defensive stop, sometimes maybe a big block or a steal than actually dunking on somebody?
Yeah, that's one of the things. In Detroit, we take pride with that. You definitely it's a great feeling when you come out and a dude averaged 30 or they got him going first round and you can hold him to 15 points and he averages 25 and 30. So it's a great feeling just to know and see a lot of people didn't know I wasn't known for defense coming out. I had defense, but to check the best player, that's something I always did personally. But that over that summer, I knew I was okay, this is what, going to get me on the court. So, I checked Marcus Jordan, every day at pickup. It was to the point where he yo, man, you ain't got to check me every day. We going, I'm like, nah, you the best here. So, I was like, this is the way I'm going to get better on defense. So he kind of helped me a lot, guard him every day in practice. And then the versatile guys like Dave Diakite, and then checking Keith Clinton some. It just showed the coach to gain more trust in me and let him know, like, I'll guard a big or whatever the team need at that time, I was willing to do.
Zeke, with college basketball the way it is today, do you think guys still have that mentality? It feels like now it's run and gun, shoot the three. Do you think there are guys who, is that a lost art, a guy who says to the coach, give me the best player? Or do you think college basketball is kind of morphed into guys want to shoot, guys want to score?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I like to see guys do. Mainly at UCF, like the team they got this year, they very versatile, from point guard to center. I just want to see them take the next step, and I want to see somebody come out with that pride and just be like, hey, we're gonna lock up, because they are also one of the best defensive teams in the conference, but I feel like they can do more. I would like to see them, go into a 2-2-1 press or a 1-2-2 press. I think it'll disrupt a lot of teams and take them out their rhythm.
Yeah. Well, getting back to that season, I got to ask you, you had I'll call it an interaction with the head coach of Marshall. Obviously, it got blown out of proportion, right? Videos are still out there. The guy had like a mini heart attack on the sideline, but he actually didn't have a heart attack. From your perspective, what the hell happened? Like, take us back to what you saw, what you experienced, because we know what he saw. We know kind of how he reacted. What did you see? How did you react to that?
It was just a BS play. A coach that's willing to do anything to win. Because, we go back and you can clearly see on the film, like I was nowhere near him. But at the time, like when he talked to me, he was like, after the game when they did it, he was like, hey, I don't know what happened. It just came to me. I wanted to win so bad, And I know how it is when you got that adrenaline in you and the game's going on. You do whatever. When I seen it, I'm like, yo, this can't be real. Like, I'm like, this is crazy. But at the end of the day, it helped them get the win. And, it was upon the referees to handle that. But, it worked in his favor.
I mean, that video still pops up every now and again, right? Every year or so, someone breaks that thing out. Does it bother you to see it? Do you just laugh at it now? Like, how do you react when someone brings that back up to you?
It always just bring that chuckle, man. Like, even now, I think like last week somebody like reposted or tagged me in it, and I'm like, I just laugh. I'm like, yo, this was years ago, and like I just sit there and think about it, like, I'm in the locker room, I'm like, dang, we lost because of me, like off a call that, everybody can clearly see, like the coach didn't do. And I'm not sure anything happened to him. Like, I'm not sure if he got suspended for next game. But
he did not.
He
did not. Nope.
Yeah, that was just crazy to me. But, I think the NCAA improved, with the monitors and cameras, and I don't think anybody would get away with that.
I think my favorite video of that one is when they put the Sanford and Son music with it, and he's having a heart attack. I'm coming.
Yeah, and it was crazy because when we played them at home, I think the crowd was like, they was chanting something every time he like would do something or like act like they fainted or something. So it was very funny, man. It was just always a time, like, especially when we played them at home, it was like the entire game I'm like trying not to laugh in my head, like, yo, this is funny, man. Like,
that season, it was a pretty good season. We go 21-9 regular season. We get to the conference tournament. We win a game, and then we lose to Memphis. But at that point, 22-10, you thinking maybe we have a shot to get invited to the Big Dance?
I think we should have had that shot, man. Like, Memphis was very talented that year, but I think the season that we had, we should have had that opportunity to get in there. But UCF was still establishing themselves and, showing the world more like that they have great athletes. And at that time, I think all our programs were like on the up and coming and like getting better every year. So I think we kind of got overlooked, and you know what I'm saying, like, it happens, but
So they send us to the NIT. Is there a little disappointment in the team? I mean, we lose the first round. Is it kind of half, we don't really want to be here, we should be in another tournament, or is it just we just got beat by a better team?
Yeah, it was a disappointment, and like, it was just like at that time, a lot of the guys, you know, we didn't even like know what the NIT was, and I'm like, we all like, man, we just worked this hard, and we going, what's the NIT, and you know, and I think we should have just approached it better, and you know, appreciated like you know we got to play post play, but you know, we was looking for going for the big win and steady trying to change the culture there.
So when you lose the NIT game, does it piss you off to where it motivates you for next year, or is it just kind of another extra game that you didn't really think about? How did it affect you preparing for the next year?
Kind of like every loss makes me mad, but a lot of the guys like it really didn't affect because you know you put all that energy and focus to want to play in the tournament. You know that's every kid's dream, every college athlete's dreams, and you know you don't get that. But you know I think a lot of guys sleep on the NIT because it was a lot of talent in there. You know, talented teams, so it's a great tournament to participate in, but you know a lot of people main focus is like you know the tournament. That's where you get noticed and can get a big opportunity.
Well, before you can even tip off the next season, news breaks that UCF is not going to be eligible for conference play, for tournament play that year. Obviously, things outside of your control, you as a player, had nothing to do with any of that stuff, right? But obviously, sanctions come down. How did you guys find out about that? Was that something you guys knew about? And then what was the reaction when you realized that, hey, we're not going to be able to get to one of our goals this year through no fault of your own?
Yeah, I think we they told us a few games in, and a lot of players were like pissed because you know you like basically like this season like every team we play, you know they gonna basically get the win and stuff like that. And you know we can't play. We're not playing for anything. So I think that was one of the most special seasons to know you going out there with your teammates that every night and you know working hard, trying to still win and you know try to still stay together and stay positive, knowing that you not going to be able to play in the tournament and you know so that was a big brotherhood moment for all of us.
But yeah, you guys lost a lot of talent from the year prior too. But you, again, as Mike said earlier, you stepped up your game big time. You were averaging over 16 points a game, and something rare. You very rarely see this, at least today in college basketball. You had not one, but two triple doubles that season, right? Which is not something you see a ton in college basketball. What I guess what about your game gave you that versatility? Was that something that you were just like, I got to do whatever I can to help my team out? Were you aware that you were close to triple doubles in those games? Was that a goal of yours? Like, walk us through kind of the experience of knowing you're kind of right on that doorstep.
No, that's the thing. Like I would never know like I was right there to just be like every time I stepped on the court, you know, we had such great fans that from UCF that supported and like, you know, in Detroit is not a lot of that support growing up. You know, you would get it from your high school, but like, you know, the UCF fans showed a lot of love. So like my thing was, you know, every night I wanted to go out and play my hardest and do whatever I can. And just over those little few years, like of learning, you know, coach telling me, you know, because you got to think, my freshman year, I barely even took shots. My role was just to strictly, I had no plays in the offense. My role was just to strictly come in, shut whoever the coach tell me to shut down. And, you know, a thing of mine came to me. I'm like, look, this rebound, I was like, I can get any rebound that come off the rim. I used to actually go in a gym and practice. Like I have people shoot and just miss, and I go in the gym and grab the rebound, get it up quick, and you know just work on getting offensive tips and stuff like that. So it kind of helped me overall. And then towards that time, I started putting everything together. Like I always been able to pass and rebound, and now like I was scoring. So it was just a mix of everything.
What's the hardest one to get? Is it the 10 assists? Is that sort of the hard mark to get past?
Yeah, that was kind of the hardest mark, you know, coming off, you know, it's kind of tough, you know, defense back then, you know, it was gritty, you know, guys in your face, you know, it was different. Like, you know, like now in college, I feel like college basketball is turning into more entertainment. Like, you know, you don't see guys, you know, pressuring effortlessly and, you know, you playing in college basketball and you playing a team, like within 5 to 6 minutes, like you should be tired if you out there giving your all. Like I know when we was playing and we was running the press, everybody knew like 3 to 4 minutes we was getting that sub. So you can go all out and just do your best within those minutes. But college basketball is to me is more entertainment, and that's what I would like to see from the UCF team that we have now. Like because I feel like they too versatile. Like they got the big wings, the big guard shooters. And we just lean on the three a little much.
So that year, your first team All Conference USA. We mentioned the triple doubles. You have a decision to make afterwards. You declare for the draft, but then you end up coming back to UCF. Tell us a little bit about that whole decision process you went through.
It was tough. I was a guy, I promised my mom, I would get my degree. She always wanted that from me, and I wanted that for myself. And then, pro basketball, the higher you go, you realize, you like, dang, it's different from college. College, you have that brotherhood and, teammates together, and you doing things and you learning with your brothers. And, when I went in the drafting, it was like every man for himself. Like it kind of like, I just like, I would love to enjoy the rest of my year, with UCF and finish strong and, do all four. I like finishing things, but the business sides were kind of different, coming out. You'll see teammates only at practice, like the Sixers when I went to their camp thing. It was just like you would never see the guys. It was like eat, sleep, hotel, see the guys at practice. And you coming from college, you like, yo, where's the brotherhood? Like we gonna hang out. And like at that time, I know in Philly it was kind of like not what I expected, like you would practice. The gym was like literally next to the hotel, and it was like they didn't want you to even go out. Like you had to order room service, and I'm just like, I kind of was like bored with it. Like, okay, I love practicing, I love grinding, but I can't go outside. And like, I knew people from Philly and stuff like that, so it was kind of difficult. It was like the bubble before the bubble.
So when you decide to actually come back, how much is making the tournament? Is your last year? This is going to be it at UCF. It's something you mentioned. It's every kid's dream. How much did that factor into saying, "Hey, I got to come back and I got to try to get this done for UCF while I'm here"?
Oh, that played a big role, man. That's just something you want. I think we had the guys to do it. I think it just took us those guys to get to that moment. If we would have locked in like months before together, because it was like an eye opener. It was like win or go home. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of guys wasn't appreciating the moment, until it came to it. They like, yo, this could be my last college basketball. And I'm like, you should approach that like the game like that each and every day, because you never know when it's your last game. But like once they seen like we started clicking in the tournament, like playing and getting wins, like we knew we could beat any team on any given night. We just had to come together. But once that pressure was like, yo, this could be our last college game, especially for the seniors, it took our play to another level.
Well, that season starts a little rocky. You guys lose at FAU, then you lose at Valparaiso, but you come back, you rebound, you win 5 in a row, and then you lose 12 of the next 14. I know you'd gone through a losing streak early in your career, like you said, as a freshman, but you said you learned and you grew and you kind of got a lot out of that. Well, now you're a senior, and this is your last ride. How was that different? Obviously, how take us through the emotions you were feeling when you realized your time was coming to an end, and you guys were continuing, just unfortunately not be able to close out games.
It was actually like, even though we was losing, I think it was a factor of, showing the seniors that basketball is more than just you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always knew that, and like it kind of brought us together, like I said in the beginning. But it was a learning experience from a different athlete. Now we're the seniors, and we're playing all the minutes, so it turned into those guys like Matt Williams, Daquan, and the rest of the guys to just like see how we handle it under pressure. Like a lot of them, they would catch me in the gym 3 a.m. in the morning, and they like, what you doing? I'm like, you got to set the tone. Like towards that time, I started thinking, I'm like, yo, we got to show these guys the ropes, and we might not can be great this season, but we can show them and prepare them for next season, and just change the culture, like help embrace it.
Well, you already talked about how much you love playing college basketball, how much you love playing with your teammates, how much you love UCF. What was that moment like when you realized you had to take off that jersey for the last time?
Oh, it was difficult. It was a lot of emotions running through. You sit there and all those memories and experiences run through your mind in a glimpse of a moment. And you just hang in tight. But at the end of the day, like, I went my hardest. I know I put the work in, and I got better each and every year. And a lot of people didn't expect me to do that. To them it was like how is you getting better, improving in different areas. But for me, those were goals. Like, every summer I was like, okay, I didn't do this last season. I'm gonna work on this ball handling, even shooting and stuff like that. So it all just kind of came down, and you like, dang man, I'm gonna miss this place. I'm moving down there probably this summer.
Awesome.
So. But a lot of the guys already moved down there. That's how you know how special that place is. Like the White Crit, it's plenty of more. Stefan Blair live down there now. So, they link up and they like, yo, you might as well come and stuff like that. And, I'm gonna be on my way.
So you mentioned your time with the Pistons. After that, you decided to go overseas to start playing. How nervous were you to go to a completely different country to go play basketball?
I wasn't nervous actually. In my high school, my middle school and high school, like I played for the Michigan Hurricanes, and we kind of like travel every week. We was going to tournaments where it's long distance, short distance. So I was kind of used to being alone and away and stuff like that, and just always on the road. So it was a great experience. It helped me step out my comfort zone and like embracing different cultures and just seeing the different side of the game, because you go to these countries and it's like they all have their own different styles of play. So once you go there, it's like you got to adjust like on a quick, or they'll send you home, like, you know what I'm saying? And just being able to do that, you can go in different countries and adjust and, embrace their culture, and, you get to learn and travel. That's one of the things I love. My daughter, she visited numerous countries, and, for the first time when she came to Italy, and, my next door neighbor was a kid playing soccer, and he talking in Italian. She like, Dad, what is he saying? I don't understand what he's saying. Like, and he was asking her to play soccer, and, just that little experience. She like, Dad, why is it, dark here and it's morning time back home? And, just explaining to her and her getting to see that, that's something I, didn't get to do as a kid, like leaving the country and stuff like that, getting to see different shades of it.
You've put together a nice career overseas so far. It's been a while now. Where are you at now?
I'm actually in Kuwait, and it's crazy because me and Stefan Blair is actually on the same team. Don't ask me how we came up and negotiated with that, but so he was here, and I was about to go to Argentina, and then he like hit me up like the team needed a guard, and I'm like, me and him have talked about it previously. He like, man, I want to just play with you again. It was fun playing with you and stuff like that. So, I had told him, I was like, the money's right, the situation is right, So I came over. We actually, we been 6-0 since I think we in maybe third place, tied for third place, and we start the playoffs. We actually just played tonight. We won sort of by like 50.
Sort of by like 50. Wow.
Yeah, so that's a great feeling, to play with your brother, and we sit and laugh because teams would be like, yo, y'all play so well together. And I'm like, yeah, we went to college together. Like the first day I came in, they like, how do you know where he like his spots and, throwing them lobs and, his mid range. And he actually improved on shooting the three as well. So, it's been fun.
A lot of people, when they hear Kuwait, I don't think they think basketball right away. How do you like living there? Has it been a bit of an adjustment, or everything's okay over there?
No, it's actually dope, though. They have a lot of American restaurants. It just feels like America. They have a lot of sightseeing. We stay right off the beach, and man, it was like when I seen it, I'm like, yo, this is pretty dope. Like I'm like, it feels like a vacation place, and it's kind of expensive here too. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I enjoy it. I just been going around, enjoying it, seeing different things, and just embracing it.
But you said you won by 50 tonight. How many would you go for tonight?
It's crazy because when he was just talking about assists, I had 15 and like 20 assists.
Quick little 15 and 20 assists.
Yeah. So I don't even think I played maybe 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
What's the competition level like over there? Is it similar to what you're maybe used to playing college balls? A little bit, a step above that. What's the competition like?
There's just it's probably more physical defense, and the competition is great. You have great Americans that went to great colleges, like it's players that went to North Carolina, like far as Americans and stuff like that. So it's crazy because you would think we all just sit there, we'd talk and go out with the Americans, and we like, and you ever thought you would like end up over here? You get to see it because a lot of players that I know that's in the NBA, when they come like overseas, they think it's like gonna be easy, but overseas play, I could definitely give them that. They play harder defense than the NBA. Like it's no breaks. Like they 1 through 5 can shoot, and they if you're not playing D, they sending you home. It's just as simple as that. Like they not buying it, so you got to come out and you playing for money now and stuff like that. So because I done seen a couple guys that average 20, 25 in the league, and then they come over here and they averaging like 12, 15 points, and they like, yo, they don't give up on no plays. Like you get a fast break, they trying to foul you on the ground, not no dirty plays or something like that, but the hustle of it is just their mentality is like defense first, and like the NBA, they play defense, but as you can see, like when Team USA came over and played like earlier on, not having that defensive 3 seconds is a big difference when you got to beat your man, and help is coming. Then you got a 7-footer or maybe 2, in the paint just waiting for you. So now you got to learn how to finish over them, and it's not so many openings.
How many more years you got left? How much longer do you think you're going to play for?
I'll probably say a good maybe 4. They be trying to push it. A lot of teams, they want you to play to like 37, but I want to enjoy my time and spend more time with my daughter. That's one of the things. Like she comes over, but when she has school, it's hard because it's like now she got to go to school. If she get a week off, maybe I can get her over here, or that depends on if she like not tired or have plans with her friends back home. So it's like it'd be tough.
As long as somebody's willing to pay you to do something you love, I mean, I say do it as long as possible, man.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know there's some players over here that's 40 and they making 15 to 20,000 a month. Like I just seen a player, he can still play and he getting like 50K a month. So, the money definitely will make you, you know, stay on your grind, stay fit, you know, and just continue to grind.
What about post playing? You have any thoughts of getting into coaching? You want to be maybe getting into scouting? What do you want to do after your playing career is over?
Yeah, I said that like on Twitter. I was thinking about like I wanted to come back to UCF and just like, you know, like a player development, you know, like the coaching is great, but it is just too much with these young guys these days. You know, they feel like they have it all and know it all. So, you know, like I think the player development, you know, that's something I would like to do. And because actually over here, like it was crazy because like overseas, you never know. Like our coach actually is on vacation right now. And he
In the
wasn't at the game today. That's how different it is over here. He like, so you know, I actually like ran the practice like he let me because he know like I want to do like player development. So like they help you as you help them. And he let me run the practice for the last 2 days and stuff like that. And it was just a great experience, you know, to see like they would let me do something like that. And you know, my teammates was like, "Hey, we want you to coach." I'm like, "Hey, I'm still a player. Like, I'm on this team. Like, I got to get paid too. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Like, but they embraced it and you know allowed me to get that opportunity. You know, and I think our coach he deserved that vacation. He currently in London. Come, you know, so that was a different experience for me too. So you always have a different experience. You like, he texts me like, "Oh, you got to make sure you win the game today." And he like, "I'm in London," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "We play tonight." He like, "Yeah, the assistant coach is there," and he was like, "I know you're gonna fire the guys up and keep them, you know, focused and stuff like that." So it was just like, you know, it's always experience. You never know over here.
Well, you won by 50, so I don't think you actually even needed them tonight.
Yeah, like no, it's crazy. Our guys came out, you know, hitting shots, and we took the injury out of them earlier in the game, and you know, Stephon Blair had a great game against their team. So yeah, it was great to see. You know, I'm proud of him, and you know the things that he accomplished and gotten better at.
Well, you mentioned maybe coming back to UCF as a coach one day, maybe player development. Before you came on with us, Mike and I were talking about this year's team, and you mentioned a little bit earlier, 16-9 overall. Hey, how many games are you able to catch? I know obviously the schedule is different for you, right? How many UCF games have you been able to see this year?
I've seen a lot. Like you know, I get to watch them. It just you know, just like now, it'd be like they'll have a game. I probably have to stay up to 5 in the morning. So you know, I'll be watching it, and you know, sometimes like you know, I'll be mad. I'm like, man, I stayed up and watched it, and you know, these guys. I was like, you just see it in their heart, like they could have got that win. It'd be like one or two mistakes, you know. So, you know, they kind of feel like I know me and Trisha Spur, we be on them on Twitter, like, you know, we need that dub and, you know, get the win, you know, focus on the win. 'Cause a lot of the, you know, you see guys it's about the social media and, you know, all of that. And, you know, I'm still a simple guy. It's just win the game, you know. Then you can do what you want after you win the game.
Well, so based off what you see, what do you think is missing? Because Mike and I were talking about how the team has been relatively inconsistent this year, right? We have a really great game, guys are playing really well, and the next game it seems like energy isn't there. It seems like effort isn't there. It seems like we're giving up loose balls and rebounds. We're making some silly plays, and the next game we shoot the lights out and things kind of get better. From what you've seen, what do you think's missing? If anything's, if you had to, pinpoint one or two things that you think they can maybe do better or get better at, what would you say from your expert opinion?
I just think it all comes down to accountability and leadership. You know, that's one of the things like I say on Twitter and things too. Like everybody said, we actually had a podcast not too long ago with Mike O'Donnell and like a lot of the former athletes that went to UCF, and just to see somebody take that ownership and be like, hey, you know, like with me, everybody on our team knew like whether we win or lose, like mainly if we lost and we knew games, like I was willing to take that blame, you know, take the heat, you know, put it on my back and, you know, just let the team know, like, hey, that's on me, you know. like I'm gonna help us get better. And then it comes down to you, like I told them, I was like, how bad do y'all want it? You know, Donnie Jawkins is doing a great job, you know, preparing them and you know what they doing. I do feel like they can do more pick and rolls. It's kind of standstill offense at times, and you know I like to see more ball movement and you know more guys be more in tune. But it comes down to the players. You know, are you getting in the gym with your shooter, getting him extra shot? That's one of the things like players loved about me because you know even when we playing, they be like, "Yo, you the best player on the team." Like my senior year, but I was the same person that'll go in the gym and you know take Stephon Blair, be like, "All right, you missed 5 hooks in the game today. Come on, let's get 500." And me just rebounding for him, that kind of like get him the confidence because he like, "You are our best player. You coming in here, you rebounding for me, and you care enough to get me in the gym." You know, that's what I like to see from them guys because you could tell who's in the gym and who's not in the gym, you know, like from playing when you're an athlete. Like, so, you know, that's one of the things I want to see from that team, like who's going to step up, you know, like, okay, we get it. You're going to have bad games, but what else can you do? If the three not going, you always can do more. Step up defensively, you know, get rebounds, encourage your teammates, you know. I think that's what UCF got to do to take that next step because you can see from the women's basketball, it's
Yeah.
strictly defense. Like they don't care who about offense. They're not really focused on that. They got plays and you know they play, but like when you come out and approach defense, like the women's basketball team, like the sky's the limit. Like you got a lot more percentage of winning games than you know just relying on offense because offense ain't always gonna be there.
Isaiah, I'm going to need you to get down to Orlando. I'm going to need you to call your namesake, Isaiah Adams, who was a Florida Mr. Basketball, great player as a freshman, has had a really rough sophomore year. What would you tell a kid like that who's got all the talent in the world, big kid, strong kid, left-handed like you? He's a good player, but he's had a really rough year. What would Isaiah Sykes tell Isaiah Adams?
I would just tell them to embrace that adversity. You know, that's one of the best things I did. Everything that, you know, like reporters or like teams would say I couldn't do, I went and worked on it. I didn't complain about it, you know what I'm saying? Like I think he just gotta continue to grind, you know. You know, I would like to see they team like, you know, get in the weight room more, you know, like because I got to see the Memphis game and like the difference in you know the weight room from they bigs to our bigs, it was just like completely different. And I'm like, because the bigs we have, they more versatile. You know, Memphis big mans, they catch the dunks and set screens, but like our guys actually are skilled, so you know they get that physicality and you know they can do more. You know, that's one of the things that helped me when I was in UCF, like the weight room. And I would always tell people that's what separates men amongst boys in college. Like, you know, you got to get in there. Like,
How much would your team beat this tier's team by? Because I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. I think 10 years ago, that team with you guys, you, Jordan, Clanton, Romsa, all those guys, I think you guys would school this year's team. You?
oh, yeah, no doubt. Because I just think, you know, they're a talented team. They probably was more talented, maybe, like athletic and stuff like that, as far as through the roster. But I think our guys had more pride, and you know, one of the things I do take that helped us, like I think we played Miami, and we ended up losing by 20, and we came to practice, and Coach Jones, like I think that really set us straight, like we could represent the university. We couldn't wear nothing with UCF until the next game. And like on campus, you couldn't practice in the uniform, the jerseys, and like I think that really set the tone of like pride and knowing like, hey, you're not playing for yourself, you playing for a school or university. Like we all won, and it kind of hurt a lot of people pride, like coming in practice. And I think I was so mad, like I wore all lime green to the practice. They like they like why you got this guy on like. they wanted us to wear simple colors. I'm like, man, I was just mad. I was like, I picked like all lime green and came to practice, and I was like, man, because it hurt me. I was like, dang, I can't put on that uniform, can't put on that jersey. And like that's one of the things I look back on, that helped us come together, like having the team we have, Marcus Jordan, Keith Clinton, and AJ Ramsa, and just us putting our individual goals to the side and then focus on team goals.
Well, lime green's an interesting choice. That's a South Florida color. I don't know if I would have gotten
that.
Yeah, that was the thing. They was like, yo, those USF colors. I was like, well, I would like to wear black and gold,
Well, listen, you've been really generous with your time, so we will get you out of here. We ask some random sort of rapid fire questions. Could be music, movie, sports, could be anything in between. So we got a few fun ones for you. Here's my first one for you. What's a food that you've had to eat or learn to love that you never thought you'd eat before now that you played overseas?
That's tough. I don't really go outside the norm. Like I do a lot of cooking now, so like I go grocery shopping. So I eat, just like I eat in America, just healthy and a lot of pasta and stuff like that. But it's been some times where they tried to get me to eat some stuff that I couldn't even pronounce. And I'm like, I'm just not even taking the chance. Like I'm straight.
So you've been traveling to a bunch of different countries. What's one place you haven't been that you still want to go
to? That's probably Greece. I know Keith Clinton played in Greece, and like he was showing me around, and like that place is amazing. Like it's unbelievable.
I saw on Twitter recently that you were asking for some help to try to locate some of your old jerseys, and you were looking for that number 3 pinstripe jersey, one of the more controversial jerseys in UCF history. So I need your official take on it. It was the pinstripe jersey trash, or was it fly?
No, it was fly to me, especially like, you growing up, I wasn't an Orlando Magic fan, but I watched their games too because I liked the Penny Hardaway and Shaq. And, just knowing the history with the Orlando Magic, and then you like, dang, because it was kind of crazy. I'm like, yo, can we get some retro jerseys or something? Like, and then Coach Jones and like we all came upon it with the pinstripes. I'm like, yo, that's different. Like,
Okay.
What's your favorite basketball movie of all time?
I would probably say I like the 6 Man and white is it White Man Can't Jump? I think
Yeah, White Man Can't Jump. That's the correct answer.
That's a classic. That's a classic. Yeah.
I don't know the 6 Man. Is that a newer one?
No, it's actually an older one. This when
old.
2 brothers are playing, and they in the college or whatever, and they go into the tournament, and one of them passes off a dunk he got, and it's like his spirit comes back. Like his brother was praying, his spirit comes back, and he's talking to him, and everybody think his brother going crazy because he like they can't see him, but his brother can see him. So it's like it's one of those emotional movies. I lost my brother, like so it kind of like I can understand that. Like I don't see him at times, but I know he's there, and like I just take that in. I'd be like, yo, that would be pretty dope if that can really happen.
All right, so we're talking to you on President's Day. So I have a President's Day question for you. Famously, obviously, I think it's South Dakota, there is Mount Rushmore. The face of 4 famous presidents are on Mount Rushmore. So give me the Mount Rushmore of UCF basketball. What are the 4 faces on UCF's Mount Rushmore? And are you one of those faces?
I wouldn't put myself, it's a lot of greats that played there. I definitely would put Mike O'Donnell.
I got some candidates. I got JT on there. I got BJ Taylor. You got Taco Fall. You got Bo Clark. You got Matt Williams.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of great players that's been through there. So, like, I don't put myself above anybody. Like, we we all were great players, and we all did what we had to do and was special in our own way. And that's one of the things about UCF. Like, I feel like every time, like with football or whether it's soccer, like they just had those special players that everybody probably knew nothing about, or they knew, but like they just take their game to another level. Like like the Johnny Menzel. What's his name? Last name? I'm sorry.
Which guy?
The football player that
Johnny
got
Manziel?
hurt. Yeah.
Mackenzie Milton. Mackenzie Milton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like him, his story is, crazy, unbelievable. What he's doing now. I see he just like released the app for UCF and stuff like that. And it's just like, once you go there, like you just want to be a part of it. It's like, dang, this, like nobody would have thought this school was that amazing until you, like I tell people, I'm like, once you go there, you'll see what I'm talking about. Like,
if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I'd probably say to tell the future.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. What would you do with that information though? Would you use it to your advantage, like get the lottery numbers, make sure you know where to stand on the court because you're going to be open? How would you use that?
For me personally, like definitely like on the court, I would use that. But like I would use it as a gift to bless others. Just help others, and that's one of the things I love to do is helping others and being a blessing to others.
Well, I can tell you what, Isaiah, after this interview, you may be on my Mount Rushmore of UCF basketball because I'm ready to go work out right now. I'm going to go get a lift in after this. You guys all fired up. Definitely took us down the memory lane of your time at UCF, man. So we appreciate you getting up and talking to us. I know it's early over there, your time. And hopefully when you get back to the States, we can catch up with you real soon. But it's been a real pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. Charge on.
Yeah, you too.